Anthony Williams. I work here at the Northwest Missouri State University Police Department, Police Lieutenant over operations of the department. Originally from Omaha, Nebraska, and I went to school here twice. Grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. Me, my mom, younger cousins, her five other siblings, two younger sisters. We all grew up in my grandmother's house. And when we all lived together, well, my grandmother passed away when I was, young. My mom was still young at the time, and so it was just me and her. We had to move into, the projects at the time. And up until, probably recently, I just never really seen my mom cry because I think she just, tried to do much to show me how to be a strong man, how to be a strong person. But, there was definitely times as a kid, where things were going wrong, when she's sad in those moments. But she's always held it together, Still to this day, I've got two younger sisters. I always say she's gotten softer. She's not as tough as she was on me, but she's definitely our biggest backbone, and we'll constantly be, and I'm pretty sure my grandmother's happy that, her oldest daughter's doing well. So. Actually had a scholarship to go play football at Wayne State College. And then I got an interest letter from the late Coach Boswick, and he seeked some interest in me to walk on here. And so it was one of those things where I'd never been here, I didn't visit. It was just one of those things where I was like, hey, I know what they can do. I know they're a great school, so that's where I'm going. Especially at a school so high impact, such a prestigious school, especially, academics and, sports related. And it was one of those things where I really had to come in and really learn the aspect of a game. In high school, I can get away with not knowing to play. I can get away with just tackling anybody, running any route that I wanted to. But here, you really had to nail it down to the fundamentals, how to use your legs, how to make the right step. Coach Wright, who's the head coach now, was actually my defensive line coach, and he was really, really keen on that. And I thank him for that, for learning those aspects that in life, it's really about the little things and not, the huge impact of it. Joining the football team, it was a lot, it was a commitment. I think most folks who never played collegiate ball or even been in the aspect of it, it is a lot, it's a demanding. And then when you get out of it, if you don't know how to manage your time and stuff like that, it hits you, It's, again, one of those humbling moments. But it's one of those things where it taught me a lot, It taught me that you can prosper. I was on academic probation one year, then next year I was literally on the academic, honor roll. So it was one of those things where I had to learn a lot. Being away from home, being away from my mom, the person who's taught me basically everything in life. I had to learn things without her and really appreciate those times. And I think I got through. I think I did pretty well, I had to cover up a couple of C's, but I got there. So I applied for the student security job through Sergeant Mike Sepperly at the time, who was also a staple in me becoming a police officer here. And I remember sitting down with him and I was talking one time, and he talked to me about the police academy, about, the opportunities, the pros of working here. And it was one of those things where I took off to go to the academy. I did get some college credit because it was at Missouri Western, but I jumped right back on. As soon as I graduated from the Law Enforcement Academy, I was enrolled in classes the next semester, and so it's basically like I never left. So. Normally of the day, it just depends on the day, really. I come in typically and I try to review, like the reports, what the officers did the night before, any footage, body cam, stuff like that. And then kind of just create my own list, what do I have to do? Right now we're going through our accreditation phase, so just kind of looking over policies. And then just, sometimes I do, sitting in the office all day, sitting at a computer can be hard. And so I like to get out and just drive around, just drive around, get my coffee, water, whatever it is, see students, smile, wave, go out, eat lunch every once in a while. Eat lunch with President Green and Dr. Mallett, two other mentors in my life, especially right now. We go to the cafeteria, eat with the students, say hi, but really, it just all depends on the day. Our policing philosophy is totally different. It's one of those things where, we like officers to have multiple alternatives. Obviously in law enforcement, discretion is key. We have to have high trust in our officers. I like to tell every officer that we hire that we like to hire leaders, because one, they have to be able to make great decisions, and two, they have to be able to live with that decision. And so anytime a call, they deal with the call, we like to evaluate the call. That's why I like to look at the reports, look at it and say, okay, you did it this way, but could you have done it a different way? It's another course to where, like I said, we got students coming in, and in 4 years, they're leaving. So how can we not affect their life? And so I like to live by the ma and pa style, to where, if you got in trouble, what are your parents going to do? They're going to, love on you, but they're going to punish you. And it's the same thing here, we're going to, love on you, but at the same time, if we have to, kind of give you that punishment, whether it be, a talking to, or whether it be just following up after the course of action to say, hey, how can we help you, what was going on, what was the issues that you're dealing with. And then, providing lots of resources. We like to be resource heavy, so that way our officers can have things in their back pocket, multiple tools. The biggest tool that they have is their mouth, and if they have those resources, they're more keen to use less force and provide better service to our students. Going to the FBI Academy, it was a process. It really started off with Dr. Green approaching me about a different training put on by the FBI, and he just had the opportunity to apply. Like I said, it's just a process, thorough background. You got to write an essay, you got to, apply for several applications, submit pictures and resumes and stuff like that. Once I got approved, it was another year. You got to do a physical exam, you got to do a physical run, you got to go to the doctor. There's just a lot of work that goes into it, but ultimately, Chief Green was able to help me get to that process, because you got to be recommended and on several levels, and I was ultimately able to go, and it was a great experience. It was one of those experiences. To be in the top, less than 1% of officers in the world to go to this leadership training was amazing. And it was one of those things where you think you go and you're nervous, because one, I come from a 12-man department in Maryville, Missouri at a University Police Department, and I'm there with guys from Chicago PD and LAPD, but when you get in the room with those guys and you're learning, and it's all the same issues, just at a bigger level, and they respect you the same. Again, I owe that to the people I work with. We do professional law enforcement here, and I think that's what we brought to the table. I won't say just me, but when I took my department with me, and I think that's what we brought to the table in those conversations, is the work that we do, and I think we were respected for that. It took a while, to be honest, to really process it, because I don't know, it just meant a lot. The average age at that time or years of service was probably 15 to 20 years of service, and I was going in there with only 9. The average age was probably about 40, 45, and I was not even 30 yet when I went. And so it was just very humbling to me. It was a great experience, and it just really felt good to be able to go and, like I said, just be respected for such low service that I had going into it, and my age, so. Really, my involvement, just, a couple of service organizations. One outside of MMO, 10 Squared Men, another service organization that I was appreciative of being a part of. I was in Rotary for a little bit of time, and through Rotary, whatever services they have. 2 of our sergeants here are the president and co-president of Santa Cops, and so, being able to go to the golf tournament to support them. I was able to be a part of the crisis intervention team, the CIT team of the Northwest region. And so anything with mental health related, had the opportunity to share with Chief Green the St. Francis Gala, which was awesome. It was amazing to support mental health. And then just anything else I could be a part of, whether it's just, shopping in Maryville, Sometimes people don't realize that the biggest things is support, the county or the places you are. It's just, spending your money there, shopping there, doing the things that you love there. I've always told Dr. Green one of those things that I want to do, how I feel like I can pay him back, is really becoming a police chief. However, whether it's for a year, year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Because they always say, look at the people, like I said, look at the people that you surround and look at your leadership. And, I think being able to say, for him to be able to say, oh, well, I had 3 people that were up under me who became police chiefs. I think that would be awesome. And so I think that's one way that I can pay him back. Sure, I don't know if I'll ever do this, but I've always wanted to own 4 barbershops. I don't know why. I don't know why 4, but I've always wanted to own 4 barbershops. So I've never cut hair in my life, but it's one of those things where I just kind of, a venture that I've always wanted to do. And so it's really just kind of having an entrepreneurial mindset, kind of getting real estate a little bit, build a house. I kind of want to do a little bit of, I want to say gardening, but farming type deal. I don't know, just a little bit more hands-on, carpentry work. And then, like I said, again, going back to Dr. Green and Dr. Mallet, guys who really shine a bright light in my life. One of the biggest things, I remember Chief Green, he did something, personal for me to help me out and assist me. And the biggest thing, when I told him thank you and how can I pay him back, the biggest thing he always told me, and he always tells me, and he tells everybody, if he does anything, he always says, just pay it forward, do something for the next person. And so that sticks with me. It's like a sticky note in my brain. Anytime you want to say no, it just comes out, and it's like, okay, say yes. So it's just, taking those opportunities to do good, and a lot of times you don't know what that looks like to somebody. It can just be a hello, just buying somebody's coffee, just sitting there having a conversation with somebody, because you just never know how their day's going. So really, outside of this, outside of work, I think it's really just when I can be around people and engage with people. And it's not really just being around people, but engaging, those one-on-one conversations, meeting new people, being able to smile and, kind of just, talk about whatever it may be. And I think that's what I love about my job the most. It's not really the law enforcement side. I always tell people I'm not a good cop, but I love the interaction that I have with folks. And so being able to talk with folks and engage with them, whether it's just a 10-second conversation, hey, how are you? How you doing? You got to smile. Cool. All right, cool. That's all I needed. That's what made my day. And so if I can get about 10 of those a day, I think I'll be golden.